Is Cardano the fastest blockchain? We'll talk about that right now in this video. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Mark, for those of you that do not know, and welcome. As we get into the weekend, it's been a rough one, okay? There's a lot of turbulent water out there when we are trading crypto. The tariffs and the reimposition that we may have within China, 145% per Donald Trump. I think they kind of activated his temper a little bit, and a little retaliation maybe with them, calling them out, the taco concerns, for those of you that know what I'm talking about. But we want to get down this discussion and go down the road of talking about Cardano and the claims that now they are the fastest blockchain out there in the market. All right, we'll get into that, as well as towards the end of this video, I'm going to share with you guys kind of how I feel about Cardano moving forward and what my plan is with my ADA that I'm currently holding. Okay, so for those of you that are new to the channel, awesome, welcome back. If you are a returning subscriber, and make sure, if you're not, to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and if you are following along on X, be sure to follow me on that platform as well. If you want to know my handle, it is in the bottom left of your screen and linked in the description. Okay, so let's kind of get into it. All right, and this is kind of the headline here, as Cardano now being the base for Bitcoin DeFi. Are they the fastest blockchain via Laos out there in the crypto marketplace? All right, we're going to kind of get into this claim. Also, I kind of want to talk about what Cardano means for Bitcoin. Kind of get into that discussion, a little bit of my stance and position as it relates to BTC, and we will take a dive into the Cardano chart right now. So without further ado, let's get it going and get into this discussion. So we are going to look into this narrative, right, to be the fastest blockchain out there right now, and the bridge within Bitcoin. Charles Hoskinson has been speaking about it a lot in Bitcoin Las Vegas. We have heard a lot of podcasts and kind of interviews discussing that as well. And before we get into kind of the overall claim about it, I want to share with you guys kind of how I feel. Cardano has always kind of been not the flashy, shiny object, the new car on the lot, if you will. It's a crypto that a lot of people kind of fade because of that, right? It's not Solana. We're not going to have meme coins doing it 1,000x each and every single day. So we're not going to get that transactional inflow volume. However, I will say, from personally trading Cardano meme coins, right, I have had my share, and on the DeFi side of things, it's really no different. And also, there is a little bit more so stability, in my personal opinion, if we're really going to call a spade, than what Solana can offer, because these projects are legitimately trying to build. So that is something that we want to talk about, and that is the Achilles heel of Bitcoin, right? It's a dinosaur. It is set in stone. It is finite. And now, as we look at kind of the inability for smart contracts on Bitcoin, it does leave a void for blockchains such as Cardano to fill. And if this does get to the point that they say it will, and we actually get it implemented and up and running, this is very promising, okay? And I think it's going to be probably one of the more bullish. I actually would rank this ahead of the Cardano ETF in terms of bullish headlines to kind of lean into as it relates to ADA. So let's get into it. I want to share with you guys kind of my thoughts. As always, please remember, not financial advice, and be sure to do your own research and due diligence. But we will look at ADA here, trading right now in the 10th spot. Just Tron did have a day where they did overtake Cardano just in the one-day window here, and we're going to see kind of how this does moving forward. But Cardano is still sitting at a $25+ billion market cap. Some of the numbers that we've reached, talking about the sentiment, some of the big whales buying Cardano, and you're wondering yourself, why is the price not moving up? Well, that has to do with a lot of the market cap, kind of the way it's constructed, and how we do have a little bit of a leverage wall, if you will, in my personal opinion, where right now we have all of this set up in place, ready to roll, but implementing it into our everyday lives, getting users kind of out of this speculation mode and into the actual real world application of said blockchains. Right, that's kind of our gap we're trying to fill. And unless you're talking to somebody tech savvy or kind of into it and up to date with what's going on with each blockchain, and they know blockchain, it's kind of hard to get your point across. So as good as a blockchain, as fast as Cardano can be, as great as not having any outages ever. That's kind of where it leads to the conversation that nobody really, quite frankly, cares unless the price is going up. Okay, so let's call a spade, but guys, do not lose track of the conversation that I'm about to share with you guys. If we were buying Cardano under 25 cents, down under 20 cents, looking at the overall last 365 days, I'll take Cardano at 70 cents. Okay, I will take it. I will take it. Yes, I had bought Cardano above $3. Yes, I have bought it below 25 cents. So it's something very promising, even though we have receded a little bit since trading above $1.20, now down at 71 cents. The tariff talks have been resumed within China, potential for 145%. I think that they kind of poked the bear a little bit, and now that reporter I basically can call this little short-term trading crash here in the crypto markets. I could pretty much place all of that blame on that reporter. I believe from, I don't want to misspeak, but I believe it might have been CNBC or MSNBC. But if I'm wrong, please forgive me. But they should never call him Taco because they call him Taco. China slips up a little bit. And the next thing you know, 145% is what we have riding on the weekend. Couple that with the Charles Hoskinson FUD with the 619 aforementioned ADA missing, and that's kind of been the recipe for Cardano to see a little bit of a correction. But I kind of want to highlight what we have seen in the overall top 100 as we are starting to flash a little bit better numbers here. So we'll see where this leads to. But the important thing kind of understanding is, like I showed you with the Cardano chart, is as we were running really hot for a long extended period of time with really no true correction, okay? And that's where I think dating back the last 30 days, it's just been on a steady, slow incline for all of the cryptos pretty much across the board. And that was a macro global move that I think that the market has seen, because now as we look at it, guys, and what we're seeing from the numbers here at CoinMarketCap, take a look at the overall value of the market cap, and I'll share with you guys kind of what we're looking at the 3.3 trillion, and this will be the last 30 days, like I talked about, dating back from May 7th, May 8th. We have essentially just destroyed the numbers, and this climb has been going on. So a consolidation dating back basically from that May 9th date in the overall market, it has led us to kind of being a little bit fragile, and from that, I think that's kind of where you look into, hey, we were waiting for a nudge, bearish or bullish, whichever way it did take place, and we did get that coming out of the negative direction. That has since left us kind of holding the bag, at least for the weekend. We'll see kind of how this tariff talk subsides, but I think this is something where it is going to be a little transitory. I think that's just all bluffing, but it will be plated and kind of tabled for discussion. I think eventually these nations will meet in the middle. And kind of my take-home message, if you're kind of wondering, hey, this is not financial advice either, but just kind of helping you guys out, my mindset, where my head's at. If the crypto market was able to hit Bitcoin all-time highs, was able to pump, was able to see a lot of cryptos having significant months in the last 30 days, all of a sudden you drop a tariff, the word tariff, and next thing you know, we're plummeting and Bitcoin's falling off the table. It's almost like it's you could read between the lines in that one and just see right through it. Okay, that's at least how I feel about it. Some people think that we could see a lot of cryptos fall off very hard. Me personally, I just think it's all bluffs. And if crypto was ready to go to all-time highs for Bitcoin, there's no reason on earth why just having the tariffs in place, it's going to take us away from that sentiment after we do get some resolution in the near future, hopefully. Okay, so let's stay the course on that one. All right, guys, but I want to share with you guys my channel sponsor. If you want to start trading on new exchange, check out BTCC. Links are down below. Spot and leverage trading, 10% bonus on first-time deposit, 40% lower trading fees, no VPN, KYC. Make the switch along with others. If you do want to check them out, like I said, the links are down below. Get started trading today if it's right for you and your financial journey, and you run it through your due diligence, all that good stuff. Start trading today on BTCC. All right, but as we get into the fastest blockchain claims, we're going to look into a lot of comments here. Dan Gambardello has talked about a little bit, seeing some market shifts that we have looked at, and the bigger picture is what we're going to kind of illustrate a little bit within the groundbreaking developments within the integration of the Bitcoin ordinals and Cardano. Now, this will be a new cross-chain DeFi phase, especially for Bitcoin, who has not really seen anything like this before in their lifespan. And as Cardano now becoming the base layer for DeFi on the Bitcoin chain, blockchain, this is something where we look into potentially unlocking trillions in capital from the Bitcoin network. Could cause a seismic shift if we're really going to kind of call a spade here. I'm not going to really act like I've done any research or any numbers on this one, but just loosely and off the top of my head, you could pretty much connect the dots. If we saw the numbers we saw with the ETF world within Bitcoin, just imagine if we get the degens and a little bit of DeFi here on Bitcoin, how that could be obscenely advantageous for not just Bitcoin, but also ADA, okay? And that's where we're going to also couple that with the midnight airdrop, projected to bring 37 million users into the Cardano ecosystem. This could be the largest airdrop in crypto history. And, just kind of getting into that Bitcoin DeFi infrastructure. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how that works. The one thing I will tell you about Cardano is I wish that they're on their DeFi side of things. It's kind of expensive. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I just think relatively speaking, it's kind of expensive. I don't really mind it. I have a Vesper wallet. It's been good, all great experiences. Like I said, no outages, but it really hasn't seen the volume such as Solana has seen. So it's kind of hard to compare and contrast without the same relative, workload and stress that a blockchain has to operate under, in my personal opinion. Okay. But we talked a little bit about that, the Cardano ETFs as well. But the biggest storyline that we have coming into this one right here is basically, right, is Cardano the fastest blockchain? All right. I think that's been some of the storyline as we talk about kind of what we're looking into. People look into the Leos upgrade claim, the fastest blockchain in the world. Now, you want to talk about this, couple this with some of the tailwinds we could get from the regulatory side. You talk about the Cardano ETFs, so to speak. It really does make a difference where we head based upon this news. Okay, I think that right now the sentiment for Cardano has been kind of bearish, but it's holding the line, it's holding the course. This is very eerily similar to the moves that we saw back in 2017. If we want to look at some of these fractals and kind of how the market has reacted, you can see this basically right here on your screen, guys, that I have this graph pulled up. But the chart looks nice, and you can sugarcoat it any way you want it. If you want to talk TA, we could talk moving averages in the short term, but more so as we get kind of deeper into this argument and this conversation, it's kind of hard to really appreciate the run that Cardano has been on, because we're looking at a 20 cents crypto that has ascended into the 70 plus cents territory. It's done at one point greater than a 6x in a relatively short period of time. Long for crypto, but in terms of traditional assets and investments, this has been a pretty significant X within a very short window, relatively speaking. So I want you guys to keep that in mind, but that's something where as we get deeper into this, in the shorter term, if we look at the daily, if we look at the movings, the 250-day moving averages, this is something where we look into a possibility for even more of a sharper dip down into that 58, 65 cents range before we get into a more decisive breakout, depending on kind of where we're at with the bears versus bulls, if we do look in some of the momentum. But I think that the score that we want to talk about, Dan obviously talks about his risk score on his channel, that risk model, the Crypto Capital Ventures risk model. It's a very, very, I would say, significant tool if you want to add to your crypto trading. There's a lot of things out there in the space that are very good. I kind of just looked into that a little bit. I follow a lot of his stuff, and I do kind of agree with the risk assessment there, as they do kind of model that there in a lot of his content. But the biggest storyline right now is, can Leos, can what we see with the Cardano ETF, can the integration into the Bitcoin blockchain as being potentially that base layer for DeFi, can that take us back to all-time highs? Because quite frankly, I know you guys have watched my stuff for years. You're pretty much sick and tired of hearing about the same old song and dance, right? It's all of this technological jargon. Cardano's building, Cardano's evolving, the roadmap, it's been impressive. It really has. But when you put it all together and it comes down to, guys, you look at your wallets and you just want to see the same progress that other blockchains are doing. Okay, so we'll take it for what it's worth. As always, Cardano for me, it's a 2029, 2030 mindset. My price prediction has always been $9 to $12. It's not financial advice. It's just kind of where I stand and what I'm hinging upon, kind of for a lot of reasons. And one of the first cryptos I ever bought. So my conviction still remains. We'll see kind of how this all shakes out, but I wanted to give you guys some updates, as the biggest storyline right now, I think, in all of Cardano is right now how this Bitcoin DeFi bridge ends up shaking out, how this fuels liquidity, how this drives demand, and kind of what the reciprocal benefit for Cardano being involved actually ends up kind of looking like. All right. So when you say the word trillions, that's kind of what we get excited about. And a lot of people are betting big on this. So as far as Cardano trading is concerned, let's weather this tariff discussion and hopefully business as usual starting next week. Okay, so I'll leave you with that. Please leave me a comment down below. Is Leos the fastest blockchain in the entire crypto landscape? I want to know down below in the comments, but appreciate you guys tuning along. Thank you all for being part of the channel, and we'll see you all in the next video. Cheers.